Hello everyone, welcome back to Brian's Basement. Appreciate you joining me down here for another episode, another time to talk about another game. So today I kind of wanted to focus on my experiences with the VR and specifically one game. That would be Gran Turismo 7. I've been playing it, quite a bit over the past week or so since I put out the last video, and I gotta say, I didn't give this game a fair chance when it first came out. I got it at launch and I was kind of annoyed by the in-game credits and the microtransactions that allow you to kind of spend money, real money, to buy credits in-game. This was the first game I paid $70 for. Not true. First game I paid $70 for was Demon Souls, but that was like a launch title and I was super stoked on PS5 and everything. I think that the hype had kind of died down by the time this came out, and I got this and I was a little disappointed when I first played it, just because some of the aspects of the game are a little strange. Like, for example, there is a cafe that you have to go to and you talk to this guy in the cafe. It's all like, it's not like you're like walking around or anything, it's just like pressing X. But you have to like talk to this guy and complete certain races, and then like when you get a podium, which is in the top 3 places of the race, you'll be gifted a car. So far, I'm very much in the beginning still. I'll get to why that is, even though I had it from launch. But so you'll have to go through these little like lifestyle events where the person who you're talking to makes you collect these cars and take pictures of them, and it's like, it kind of serves as a little tutorial to the larger game. So I'm still kind of working my way through that. But like when I first started the game, I really didn't like that stuff. I still don't really like it. I feel like Gran Turismo's trying to like appeal to like the Forza Horizon fans by doing this, which I don't really know. I mean, I guess sure, try and sell to that market, try and get new fans interested in your series, but to me it kind of took me away from the point of the series. And back to my previous example, my previous point as to why this game didn't really get me interested when it first came out. The used cars are crazy expensive in this one. I think in like Gran Turismo 3 A spec, we were looking at like 5,000 credits for an A86, 10,000 credits for like a FCRX7. I'd have to go back and like do the research on this, maybe make another video about how astronomical the used car prices have become in this game, because it's literally making me like spend $20. Not like making me, but like my impulsiveness is making me feel compelled to just spend the $20, get 2 million credits, and just buy whatever I want and add it to my collection. And so they really kind of get you with that, and I knew I was going to fall into that trap. And when I first spent the 70 on this game, I just didn't want to plow another 20 into it just to buy cars that I wanted. So that kind of annoyed me. And then the cafe stuff, like, that's the only way to unlock bigger races and progress the game, is through this cafe thing that I was just referring to. So the combination of those two like newer gameplay aspects really turned me off as an old-time fan of the series. So I heard that they gave a VR upgrade for free, so I was like, let me go back, let me give it another shot. And I gotta say, it's a really awesome game. I'm loving it. I think it's incredible. I think the thing that really got me with the VR is like the interiors. of the car, you can kind of like look around in them, and you can like look at the back seat and like everything. And it's so detailed, and like I actually like have some of these vehicles, and so I am familiar with the interiors, and the attention to detail is just out of control. So bravo, it's a really great game, and I think that I probably should have given it the time of day initially, because there are a lot of cars, a lot of cool cars. The way to get them is somewhat annoying. You have to wait for cars that are older than the year 2000 to come through the used car lot, which is kind of like random, and it updates as you progress the game. Well, not like as you do races and as like you do events and time elapses in the game, then the cars in the used car lot will kind of cycle through, and so you kind of have to wait to get stuff that's older than 2000 to just like come through here. So I don't know, I mean it's cool, but it's also annoying. So, but I guess that's kind of been like that in Gran Turismo for a while, so I mean I guess I'm not going to complain about that too much. But yeah, the microtransactions kind of annoyed me, so that's kind of why I stayed away from this. But giving it another chance with VR, and I'm really happy I did, because it's a really great game. There's a lot of neat little features in here, like when you unlock the car dealerships, you can go and view each automaker's history from like when they started and all their, you know, important models and all kinds of good stuff like that. And then Gran Turismo, of course, always still has like the couple paragraphs about each vehicle in your garage. So like, you know, from a information perspective, they're still doing a really good job. There's a lot of really good stuff there. A lot of stuff that like I really like about the series, because I like learning about like the histories of these cars that I like a lot, and the histories of the companies. So I found that to be really cool. and like this isn't even really like a VR review at this point. I'm kind of bleeding over into a review of Gran Turismo 7 just because I was so annoyed by it initially. I didn't check out any of this. I didn't really give it the time of day. So it's kind of a disgrace because it is a really good game. And if you can just get past the fact that you're either going to have to grind for vehicles or you're just going to pony up 20 bucks anytime you want to go nuts and buy whatever you want, then it's fine. So, I mean, but it's just, I guess, you kind of have to accept the fact that a lot or most games today have microtransactions. So anyways, back to what I was talking about. There's a lot of cool history that's included in this game, just about each automaker. Really like neat stuff that I would highly recommend for anyone who's like a fan of history and, you know, car game stuff. Maybe you haven't checked out Gran Turismo in a while. So it's still got like the lifeblood of Gran Turismo here. And at its core, it does feel like Gran Turismo. So I think they did a good job of still embodying that. I will say that like when you're driving in VR, I got a Pulse 3D headset with the VR. And it's a little much when you have the VR headset and the Pulse 3D headset over top of it. But it fits really well, and it really adds, like, because it has 3D sound. So it really adds to like the immersion when you're driving in there. So I think it's a very immersive driving simulator, and it's a lot of fun for PlayStation and the attention PlayStation with the VR add-on, PS5 with the VR add-on, and the attention to detail, like with the interiors and just the feelings of how the car drives, is really nice, and I think it is really amplified in VR, especially like when you've got, you know, the headset on. You got the VR headset and the Pulse 3D headphones. It's really nice. So I'm just really enjoying it. I'm like I bought like a wheel and the shifter, so I have like a little rig set up that, because it kind of like really got me just back into racing games, and I don't know, I kind of went a little overboard with this rig. Maybe I'll showcase it in another episode when it's finished. I'm still waiting on like the H pattern shifter, so we'll see when it all comes together if it works well. So far it's working well. I got like a sequential that like doubles as a handbrake, so, but it's been quite expensive, so it's kind of taken me down a rabbit hole, this whole VR, you know, driving thing. It's because it's so realistic that you can really go nuts with it. So it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it, and it's really taken me. It's been a while since I've gone down like a simulation rabbit hole. I've gotten into like flight sims before, but never into like driving simulators. So I'm now interested to check out like other driving sims, but more on that later. So Gran Turismo, really good. Literally, when I played it in VR, I was just like, I'm gonna have to get a rig to really experience this. So that's what I did, and now I'm loving it. I think even without a rig, it's an awesome game. I didn't really look into it too much. Apparently there is like a way to use tilt controls with the VR controller, but I didn't really figure that out, so I just ended up getting a wheel and stuff. So, but honestly, playing it with the controller in VR was still like a lot of fun. Really added a lot. I mean, I don't think I would have given this game a second chance had I not known about the whole VR add-on. And beware, if you're playing this in VR, like the only thing that's in VR, just like Gran Turismo Sport that was in VR also, I think, are the races. So like you're not gonna be like seeing the screen selection or any of that in VR. They just do the races in VR. So, but like I think every freaking car, and there's like 700 cars in here, has proper interior. So it's really just like mind-blowing. I mean, because it feels like you're in there. And if you have like a rig with a seat and stuff, it is just, it's wild. It's next level. So I'm really enjoying it. I really like this game. I think it's just a great racing game. Classic racing game. Just gives you everything you would expect from Gran Turismo. And I really kind of need to progress the story beyond, like, I'm only on like menu item number 7 from the cafe. So I really need to like get past this cafe spot so I can actually unlock some more of the races and some more of the tracks and start seeing the rest of the game. But like, so far, really enjoying it. Can't believe I never gave it the time of day before. I'm a little nervous though about how much real money I'm going to be dumping into this to collect all the cars that I want. So we'll see how that goes. So far I've only put in an extra 20, but that 20 is kind of, I'm out of credits. So I'm not really sure. I'm worried I'm going to spend like $20 a week on putting credits into this game, which could add up really fast. So more on that later. I guess we'll see what happens. But so far so good. So far I'm loving it. I think it's a really great game. I think the attention to detail is incredible. Each car does feel different. I've been trying to do like the drift trials, and I don't really know how to drift in Gran Turismo, so it's been a little difficult. So I'll probably keep trying at that, but you know, there's a lot to do in the game, and there's a lot of, they've made upgrading a lot more of like a focus, so you can do some pretty like crazy upgrades to the car. Like you can give everything NOS, you can put turbos on everything, you can like make cars that came stock with a 4-speed have a 5-speed, fully customizable transmission, all the stuff you'd expect from like a racing game. So it's just got everything you would expect from a great racing game and more, just because there's so many vehicles and so much information packed in here about those vehicles and the companies that made the vehicles and the surrounding history going on. I mean, they have like a really just like awesome so when you're going through the vehicles, it gives you like a little slideshow of each year and the significant event that happened. But if you click down, you'll see all of the current events that were going on at the time, and there's some really like just interesting current events that, you know, aren't widely talked about that were cool that I had learned from there. Specifically, there was one about like a computer, a German, you know, Turing machine that was basically made. Forget the name of it, but I'll take a screenshot and put it in here. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. Really, a really cool and thoughtful game. So I would recommend it. I would definitely beware, old fans to the franchise, beware of the microtransactions and the cafe stuff. Those two aspects are gonna, and the price of the used cars are gonna hurt you. If you're coming in as an old fan, they hurt me. But beyond that, it's a really fun game. Great racing simulator. I don't know if I just can't find it or it's not there. I couldn't find a way to like enable a clutch for when I'm shifting. I don't know if they don't have it or what. So while it's like a great simulator, while it's a good simulator, it's not like a great simulator, because I don't think there are some aspects that, like the clutch, that I'm gonna be able to put in there. So, and that's like kind of a big deal, you know, for simulation. So maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe I'll go back and find the setting, but it doesn't matter. I would say for anyone who's a fan of racing games, a fan of 80s cars, a fan of like collecting cars, a fan of learning about cars, just a fan of cars in general, if you like cars, you'll probably like Gran Turismo 7. It's a pretty good game. I can understand if you don't want to pay $70 for it, But, you know, keep an eye on it. It's really cool, and it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely, like, a beautiful, beautiful game. The cars look incredible, and it's just... it's an excellent experience. And VR really is, like, the cherry on top. It just makes the game really just... it just adds a level of reality, like, a crazy level of reality to the simulation and when you're playing. And I mean, like, granted, I can only play like an hour, maybe 2 hours with the VR headset on before it starts like making my head hurt a little bit, because you have to like tighten everything and stuff. But you can always play just on the TV screen. The game's experience is still great there, but I really, really stand by the fact that the VR, for this game in particular, it adds a lot. And it adds so much that it kind of made me revisit and rethink my initial review of this game, where I was going around bashing this thing, telling people it sucked. You know, so for the reasons that I said before about the microtransactions and the cafe and all that, and the used car prices. But I've kind of come to terms with all that, and I think that this is a pretty great game, and I could definitely recommend it. So thanks a lot for checking out this video. If you've got VR too, definitely get Gran Turismo 7. It is amazing. I'd say it's one of the killer apps. So, what do you think about Gran Turismo 7? Have you played it? Have you played it for VR? Do you think that it's as game-changing as I do? I'd be happy to know. So, let me know in the comments. Thanks again for coming down to Brian's Basement, checking out this video. We'll see you next time in Brian's Basement.